What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be discussing my top 10 worst episodes of Family Guy. Simple as that. Um, this is opinion-based, blah, 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 that. And, also this contains more grotesque and cruel scenes than usual, so, this might not be for you. Okay, let's start with the list. This video falls under critique. I don't honor any of the clips used in the video. Family Guy's owned by Seth MacFarlane, Century Fox TV, and Disney. This video is for entertainment purposes only, and I do not mean to attack anyone who works at Family Guy. With this disclaimer over, hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, start. This episode. Let's start with dead dog walking. This is literally Love Blackshirley again. The episode Love Blackshirley was already cruel and boring and annoying and unpleasant, but this one is even more gross, meaning that it is worse. Honestly, I just don't like it. This fat Brian here is weird looking, and Brian's cruel, like usual. Classic Brian. And also, he's just annoying overall in this episode. I don't really know what else to say. So, yeah, let's move on. Number 9. Play it again, Brian. Oh, God, not this. Okay, so some people like this episode. I don't see how, but okay, so let me get through the problems. This is the same problem as Demolition Doofus from SpongeBob, where it makes two characters the bad guy and expects you to like one of them. This one being Brian as the good guy, Peter as the bad guy. But both, honestly, Peter is a bit more sympathetic. Brian is a freaking simp who lusts after Lois, and he's also generally just annoying. They also make Peter too unlikable to the point where it's not realistic anymore. Not something early Family Guy would do, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure they would have had this a lot better. Also, the fight is a bit grotesque, but that's normal for these seasons. And, that's all I have to say. Lois is a bit generic, I guess. She isn't really like herself. I don't really like Lois, though, so whatever. Let's just move on. Number 8. Oh, God. Not this thing. Beat harassment. Whoa. Okay, I'm just gonna try to talk about this as easily as possible. Okay, here are my 3 main problems. 1 is Lois. Yeah, she's just stupidly annoying. 2, the ending, where they reveal that the girl in this picture here is actually, like, weird, like, some sort of, like, things happening or something. I forgot. Oh, yeah, she hasn't been together with anyone in years and stuff, and she's always been doing this, blah, blah, blah. It's so stupid. But the biggest problem is the fact that it kind of accomplishes the opposite of what it wanted to do. It wanted to show that men, yes, can be sexually harassed, and that can happen in a workplace. That happens. However, they decided, yes, let's make the it's just weird. It's difficult. I don't really know what else to say. If you want to hear a more in-depth analysis, watch Mysterious Mr. Enter's review on this episode. It worked well. And it summed up my thoughts well. Number 7. Oh gosh, this one's notorious. Screams of Silence. This one's notorious for this talk of... Do I even really need to even talk about this episode? I guess I'll try to target some of the points that people haven't really gotten onto yet. Jeff's character design is bad. Not very talked about. What really can I say that others haven't already said about this episode? I don't really know what else to say. I guess we can just move on because I have nothing to add. Let's move on then. Number 6. Oh god. No, Stewie's on Shante. Or on Shante, however the fuck you say it. This one is just gross and not funny at all. This one is just... I do not understand the mind that can make this episode funny. Or attempt to make this episode funny. The premise, Stewie is pregnant. That's the entire premise with Brian's babies, by the way. Yeah, this was really cool. I will give it this. Brian worked as a straight man for a total of 10 seconds. Then he tries to force a miscarriage. Oh, goody. Also the jokes are just repetitive. For example, there are just a lot of jokes that get repeated over and over again. Seriously, we should try to use this episode to fight for climate change, because it recycles more than anyone I know. Let's move on. Number 5. Herpes the Love Sore. This is the Splinter from SpongeBob, but way worse. The plot's worse. The characters are worse. All of the fucking gross out is worse. Everything is worse. To be honest, these sappy moments in this episode also did not work at all. It was not funny at all. It was boring. What I was gonna really say though, a lot of people have already discussed this one a lot. I don't really know what to say, but let me think. The herpes is gross. I'm pretty sure that's been said before. Brian's a jerk. Oh, that's been talked about to death. The jokes are unfunny. Wow, who hasn't covered that? Overall, this episode is another one of those cases with screams of silence where I can't really say much about this episode, so I guess we could just move on. Number 4. Fresh Air. I mentioned this one in my top 10 worst cartoon episodes. And, yeah, this one is about Peter marrying Chris, because that is perfectly normal. According to Peter, as long as it's a man and a man, it's legal. That's brain dead. I don't know how you can be this brain dead. It's not good at all. There's no redeeming qualities. None of the jokes are funny. None of the jokes are even remotely funny, in fact. This felt like unpleasant. It was not funny. I don't know how to describe it. It's so boring. How can you really even, say this episode? I don't know what to say about this. A lot of people also discussed this one. But I will give the episode this new point of perspective. I hate everything about this episode. Wait, that's already been said. Okay, let's move on. Number 3. Now, from this point on, not all dogs go to heaven. From this point on, all the episodes on this list will be from my top 10 worst cartoon episodes. So, we're just going to kind of try to update those opinions. This one discusses Christianity and atheism, and I feel like this could have gone well. This could have been a decent episode if it had executed it correctly. I hate Brian. I'm pretty sure everyone does. But, to be fair, he was really treated not nicely in this episode. And for not good reason. If the pain he went through wasn't something like Herpes the Love Sore or Brian's a bad father, that could have worked. That could have been good. That would have been something similar to something like the earlier seasons of SpongeBob did to Squidward. But no, we needed Brian to get hurt because he's an atheist. And we get a first for the show. I will admit that it's the only time I understood why Brian was lying. To be fair, what can I really say besides this episode's stupid, it's boring, and the worst part is the ending where Brian convinces Meg that Christianity's dumb because she's ugly. That's not how it works. That is just brain dead and insulting. This show just feels like it's insulting its viewers, which is rule number 1 in entertainment, to not do that. Let's just move on to the final 2, which if you've seen my worst cartoon episodes review, you already know. Number 2, Seahorse Party. Yeah, this is quite the party, alright. Really so party. I loved this episode. So much that I'm going to have an entire section in this video praising it. What is wrong with it? Everyone said all that can be said, though. It's boring. It's very, very fillerish. It's boring, by the way. Boring. Not a very good title now, is it? This episode, I don't know how anyone could even remotely like this. I honestly could see somebody ranking this number 1 on their list. I just thought that last one was worst. But, honestly, this episode is the only contender I could say that might be worse than something like Stimpy's Pregnant from R&S Adult Party. Now let's get to the dishonorable mention. Yippee! Vicious Style Peter. This episode was not good. I don't think it was mean-spirited or, it wasn't mean-spirited. It didn't have any annoying commentary or anything like that. But it was just brain dead. It honestly was brain dead. It was so stupid. The freaking Peter here had a voice so annoyingly high-pitched that makes Toad from Mario sound sophisticated and sounds like he has a British accent and sounds like every single stereotypical British person ever. This episode was just god-awful. I did not like this one. Please avoid this one. And now, let's move on to number one. Without a doubt, number one, Brian's a bad father. Oh, God, indeed. Wow, God. What can I say? I guess I'll just get to the 5 points that I hate most. 1. Brian himself. Yeah, this isn't really all too much of a problem. Like, that's not reoccurring. This reoccurs on a lot of episodes, like some ones I didn't even mention here, such as Brian Writes a Bestseller or Brian Griffin's House of Pain. Overall, those 2 episodes were bad and mean-spirited, but this one had Brian at a whole other level. Or even something I mentioned, like Herpes the Love Sore, or Not All Dogs Go to Heaven at the ending. But gosh, what did they do to you, Brian? I get that, yes, writers go through changes, but why do we need this? Number 2 biggest problem with this episode. Actually, not biggest problem. 5 was, honestly, Brian was probably the 4th biggest problem. The 5th biggest problem was the plot. The plot was brain dead, but honestly, it's the least of its worries. It's not funny at all. It's not good. I hate this one more than something like Squid's Visit or Stimpy's Pregnant, which I despised Stimpy's Pregnant with all my heart. Number 3, woohoo, was Dylan. I didn't understand what was going on with Dylan. Like, why is he so stupid? He's actually brain dead. And not funny at all. Number 2, Peter's subplot. Yes, because we needed a bad subplot to go along with it. Yeah, yay, a subplot. Woo. Okay, so the subplot wasn't as bad as the main plot. Actually, no, it was just as bad. Subplot is about Peter breaking up with Quagmire and Joe after shooting Quagmire in the arm for no reason. This episode, that part particularly, was really dumb. It was not funny at all. Who could find that funny? And speaking of who could find that funny, number 1, the comedy! Woo! There's a joke in here that actually might be the worst, no, not might, is the worst joke I've ever heard in my days. And that's the scene with the Peter and the knife. Watch the episode yourself, you can find it, but it's about Peter wanting to kill himself because he left Quagmire and Joe. Yep, real tasteful. Oh, by the way, they acknowledge that their audience is 14 girls who are prone to depression and cutting. Perfect. Let's teach them how to slit their wrists. Because that's a perfect idea for a cartoon episode. Yay! This episode was not funny at all. It had no good jokes. Overall, without a doubt, this is way worse than any other episode. You know what? I will give this one this, though. I'd rather watch this one than One Course Meal. But honestly, after thinking, this is probably objectively worse than One Course Meal. One Course Meal, yes, has that infamous suicide scene, but so did this. Though it's not nearly as infamous, it's still very bad. And honestly, probably should be more infamous. I found it more insulting here than I found in One Course Meal. But One Course Meal, I'd not watch. I would rather watch this over One Course Meal. Overall, 0 out of 10 piece of media. Nothing redeeming about it. Nothing at all. Goodbye. Brian's a bad father. I hope we never cross paths again.